Okay, so here goes another anonymous story time. Am I wrong for getting a restraining order on my mom because she popped my son? So my dad passed at a very young age, and this left me to be raised by a single mother. Now, I'm not bashing single mothers, but some of her parenting was low-key really messed up. Like, if she would ask me to do something and I didn't do it right away, she would get mad and she would hit me. Or if I got a bad grade on an assignment that I really tried my hardest on, she would verbally assault me. She would get mad at everything and yell, so at a young age, I vowed to never treat my kids how I was treated. Now, fast forward, I am now 24 years old with a 2-year-old, and he's in his terrible 2 phase. It's pretty hard and it's pretty frustrating, and when we go over to my mom's house, if he does something bad, she tells me I need to start popping him or you need to whoop him. But I brush the comments off because I know he's just being a kid, and I know that if he does something extremely bad and I tell him about it, he'll stop. With all that being said, my son is now learning how to talk, and the only problem with that is he basically screams when he's talking, but it's not on purpose. He's very loud and he's very excited, and we went to my mom's house for dinner and a couple other family members were there too. My son has learned to point out the items of his meal, so when he saw people had a piece of turkey, he started yelling meat. He was doing it while other people were talking, so I told him to stop, but my mom turned him in his high chair toward her and plucked my son in his mouth. Okay, so here goes part 2 to the anonymous story time. Am I wrong for getting a restraining order on my mom? So my son has learned how to point out items of his meal, so when he saw he had a piece of turkey, he started yelling meat. He was doing it while other people were talking, so I told him to stop, but my mom turned his high chair towards her and plucked my son in his mouth and shouted at him to be quiet. My son cried and cried, and it was the worst I've ever heard him cry, and I was filled with rage. I immediately yelled at my mom, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I've never cursed my mom, so this was a shock to the whole family. She proceeded to say, "You and this gentle parenting nonsense is not working, so it looks like he needs to be raised the old-fashioned way." And I can't repeat the other things I said to her, but I grabbed my son and I told her, "I'll see you in court." I then filed a restraining order against her because I refused to ever let her near my child again and put her hands on him, and ever since then, a lot of my family members have been telling me I'm being dramatic and taking things way too far. They tell me she was just disciplining him and didn't mean any harm, and I've told every single family member who's taken her side they can join her too and not see my child either. I don't understand what they don't get, and my husband is on my side, and that's all that matters, but in a way, I feel like I may have taken things to the extreme. I'm starting to feel bad, so I need to know, am I wrong for getting a restraining order?